fans? It's your boy, the sports reporter without pay, and we've been out of. I mean, we ain't been on for a minute, about 2 weeks, I think. But here we are, Monday Night Live, Ball Don't Lie, and I don't too much get excited about having guests, but I got some guests in the building. We're gonna jump right to it. We're gonna get the whole crew up in here, and we're gonna start off with my man right here in North Carolina with me, up in Fayetteville, the big guard himself from Say What, Say It Again, Mr. Tiras Ray. What up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Hey, bro, career over for your camera, dog. Career over for your camera.
How's it career for my camera?
Do you see your camera? Do you see yourself?
It might be your internet, bro.
Career over for your internet, career over for your camera. We're gonna get my other bro in here. As a matter of fact, when I get all of them on here, I'm gonna tell y'all why I don't like none of them. But we're gonna get my guy in here, Mr. Danny Thompson. What's good with you, sir?
Man, Ray, come on, man. You don't like me already? It's been 10 seconds into the show.
No, we're going to explain why I don't like name three of y'all. We're going to explain it. Hey, and we got to get props. This is the first time my guy been on the show, man. The founder, the CEO, the man, the myth, the legend from the three-point conversion, Mr. Controversy, Rapheal. What's going on, sir?
What up? Did you miss me? And Ty, your camera was bugging, bro.
Yeah, it was wild.
It was bugging.
I think it's something Ray got going on, that Jacksonville cheap internet, man.
No, bro. So listen, man. Let me explain to y'all why I don't like none of them, right? This guy down here, him right here, three-point conversion, used to have it lit on Saturdays, battlegrounds, you know what I'm saying? And then I came in like a wrecking ball, you know what I'm saying? I came in smoke checking everybody. This guy down here, he lost to me once, you know what I'm saying? But then they was like, oh, he was getting cheated. So then I go back on the show, Danny beat me. And then I go back on the show later, and this guy beat me. And y'all know that ain't supposed to happen. So I've only lost.
If it's not supposed to happen, how'd it happen then?
I've only lost on Battlegrounds twice, to that guy, and I blame this guy for it happening. Because I think the fifth was here, bro. So, hey, it is what it is. These are three of the best minds in sports, man. And here it is. We're at the middle of the NBA season. So here on Ball Don't Lie, all NBA all the time. And we're going to be doing a midseason review, man. And we're going to start off with some of the biggest surprises. And since it's your first time on the show, man, I'm going to come straight to Mr. Controversy, sir. Talk to us, man. We're going to start off with surprise players. Let's start off there.
I have one surprise player. I didn't take the time to think of more. My surprise player is Shea. Man, I mean, we knew Shea was good. We knew Shea can ball, but what he's doing this year, and of course you might say, well, I mean, everybody's game has been lifted. Everybody's stats are lifted up, but yet still he's like top 4. You know what I'm saying? As far as his stats going, almost 31 points a game, close to 5 rebounds a game, close to 6 assists a game, averaging a block a game, and almost 2 steals a game. And believe it or not, the OKC Thunder, they're 24-25. You might say, okay, it's a losing record, but it's the OKC Thunder. This is after Chet got hurt in the beginning, during preseason, out for the year. So, or before preseason, I'd say, but either or, the fact that he's leading this team, the way he's doing it, so efficient, shooting over, I think, 54% from the field, is just, I didn't see this. I don't think anyone else saw this, you know, as far as him scoring like this and being efficient like he is, but yet still, you know, providing the assists, getting the rebounds, the steals, a block. That's my surprise player.
Hey, I'm not even mad at that, man. Bro hooping, like, you know, Kentucky be pushing them out. You know what I'm saying? Left and right. You look at the stars around the league, the Cats, the ADs, the Devin Bookers. Like, he wasn't one that was on my radar like that. Like, and bro is hooping. Something to the tune like 31, 6, and 5, and he's shooting like close to 50, 40, 92. I ain't mad at it at all. Talk to me, Danny Thompson.
You know, on the NBA bingo board for 2022-2023, who'd have had D'Anthony Melton starting for the Philadelphia 76ers and putting Tyrese Maxey on the bench? A guy who was acquired for Danny Green, 2 bags of all these pecans, and a coupon for 25 cents off some frozen foods has put Tyrese Maxey, literally one of the biggest stories of last season, in the improvement category, back to being the 6th man. Melton is second in the NBA in steals this year, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. And a guy who was only averaging 19 minutes a game in Memphis last year on a loaded Memphis team has been the third best player for the Sixers this season. Yes, more valuable than Tobias Harris, more valuable than whatever's on the roster. But Melton has been phenomenal and has allowed Tyrese Maxey to help the Sixers bench. Like I said, when you're given 13 points a game, shoot a career high with 3-point percentage and second in the NBA in steals, you got it. No one would have thought that for Danny Green. No one would have thought that when that deal happened.
Hey, so let me ask you a question, and this is for everybody. Do you think Melton starting, and I don't disagree with the idea of him being surprising at all, but do you think him starting is more a thing of how well he's playing, or the combination of them wanting to ease Maxey back in, and then like we know this new thing with NBA 6-man, it's like a guy that's good enough to start, i.e. a Lou Williams, i.e. a Jamal Crawford, right? But we're going to bring him off the bench to give us that scoring punch.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I think he's playing well enough to where they can say, okay, we can start him. But I really think, like you said, it's not even easing Maxey back in, but I think it makes sense to have Maxey come off the bench because the way Harden is playing as far as point guard, and the way he's dishing the ball out, Maxey is not the type where, all right, you catch off a screen, catch it off a screen and shoot, or in transition, Harden pushing it to him, then you get the layup and Harden get the assist. Maxey is more of, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna run right past you and score, or I'm gonna penetrate and shoot, whatever it is. So I don't think the way Harden is playing now, I'm not gonna say they won't jail, but it'll kind of knock off the chemistry of what's going on now. And then you bring him off the bench. Now he has open floor. He can score. He can do whatever he needs to because he has that type of talent. So I think it's more of that. But like you said, I'm with you. We didn't see Melton playing like this. But I think because he's playing well enough to where they say, okay, we can start him, and he's doing good enough. He's doing the Danny Green, like you said. Danny Green probably wouldn't have been doing these numbers. So he's doing well enough to where you can start him. But I think it's more of it makes sense for Maxey to come off the bench.
I honestly, and I think it's a combination. I kind of agree with Ralph. I think it's a combination of two things. One, I think he benefited from guys being hurt early in the season. Maxey was hurt, Harden was hurt, and when he played good. So, once they brought those guys back, like Ralph is saying, they want to mess up the chemistry. I think he was just playing good enough to keep playing. But I mean, I agree with both guys' takes. But I think he just capitalized off guys being hurt early in the season.
And I think the one major difference between this year's DeAnthony Melton and last year's is the fact of he's shooting 40% from the three-point line. One of the issues he had last year was he was so good defensively as a starter or getting minutes, he wasn't very good offensively. And offense, you mentioned, when you have James Harden, who's extremely ball dominant, you got Joel Embiid, who's literally one of the 3 or 4 best players in his entire league, if not the best player in the league. You need guys who can knock down shots. Tobias Harris hasn't been consistent. So you put a guy out there who's hitting 40% of his threes to what the guys are saying, you're not going to come off the floor, especially if you're getting 2 steals a game. I think he has 3 steals tonight against the Magic through 3 quarters.
And again, if you can get away with it with guys like Tobias Harris, Embiid, and Harden on the floor, right? It's not like you need Maxey to be out there giving you 20 a night. But now them second units got to deal with Maxey. So, I mean, that's looking tough. Mr. Tiras Ray sitting here with that UNC shirt on, sir. Talk to me about this Duke fella. Talk to me about the Duke fella, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to say stuff good about Duke guys. But I will say this, man, Banchero, man, he's having an amazing season this year. Me being a UNC fan and him being a Duke player, I didn't expect him to have such a good season. Actually, even got the Magic playing better. People might say, well, they only got 19 wins. They only had 22 last year. So, they're on pace to have more than 22 wins. Will it be much more? I don't know. But, I mean, they definitely look better this year. And I think he's a big reason why he's averaging 20 and 6. So, I mean, he's having a pretty good season. He could be shooting a better percentage. But I didn't expect this from him out the gate.
So, say, Tom, I'll stay right there with you. I threw these topics out to y'all and we talked about players and teams. What team this year surprised you so far? As a matter of fact, I think you guys were unanimous on the team, but talk to me.
It's the Kings, man. I mean, they've been down in the dumps for so long. And I will say this about the NBA. The one thing I like about the NBA is the NBA is designed for bad teams to be good at some point. Because if you keep drafting in the lottery I mean, can't get it wrong but so many times. I mean, we've seen teams get it wrong a lot. But, I mean, the Kings, I think they're having a phenomenal season. Domantas Sabonis. I can't even say Fox is playing better because he's actually been playing putting up the numbers he's putting up like the last couple of years. They just haven't been able to put nobody else with him to help him. But now that he has a Domantas Sabonis, I think it's working.
I'm going to swing it to you, Danny.
The reason why I chose the Kings is, when we thought when Mike Brown was hired, we all laughed. Like, this guy getting another head coaching job, especially in this location. Like, it's like no one, to everybody's point, no one's won in Sacramento in years. The last time they were relevant, was the years of Chris Webber and those guys, even Peja Stojakovic. But what Mike Brown has done is, even though the Kings play little to no defense, you mentioned how good Sabonis has been. De'Aaron Fox has been consistent. That's the one thing De'Aaron Fox has never been. He's never shot 50% from the floor in any season he's been in the NBA. On top of that, Raph's guy, Kevin Huerter, has become more of a shooter, getting more opportunity. Malik Monk has been consistent. Keegan Murray. The Kings are just fun to watch. They don't play defense, but they've learned to outscore everybody. And so that puts Mike Brown in a different category right now. And the Kings are I think they're third place in the Western Conference right now. So
third.
I would have had the Kings in the top 3 when the season started.
Talk to me, Ralph.
Unlike you all, not that I didn't think they would be good, because before the season I said it's just the fact that they're in that division. That's why they're going to not win. That I thought they would hover around close to 500. I just didn't think they would be number 1. Like Danny said, everybody laughed. I didn't. I thought Mike Brown was the perfect coach for this team. I thought it would be better defensively, so that kind of surprised me. But, I mean, you think about the players they've added. We didn't get to see Sabonis really fit in last year. He came in, during the trading deadline, and, he never really fit in, got acclimated with the team. But now the way they're playing him, he's basically the point there, averaging about 7 assists a game. And then, as you mentioned, Danny, bringing in Huerter, you got guys like Monk, and then Keegan. Like, man, everything just meshed. You got your rookies, you got your vets, then you got the players in the middle that's, in their prime right now, and it just makes sense. So I'm more surprised at the fact that they're leading that division and they're over 500 like that. But I knew they would be pretty good and be a dangerous team to play, but just not this good.
This is like the perfect example of how fast people can change their view of you based on the situation. Because if we recall last year, a lot of people were saying Sacramento traded the wrong guy. Like, a lot of people believed in Halliburton and was saying Fox not the guy that's going to get it done. He's been in the league X amount of years. But if you think Sacramento been the place where careers go to die, can't nobody tell me Boogie Cousins couldn't be a Hall of Fame player if he was in the right situation, right? But he spent his prime in Sacramento, so he's kind of an afterthought of the big men of this generation. So I'm glad to see them playing well. I'm glad to see De'Aaron Fox is going to get the kind of props he deserves for the level that he plays at. But where there's some, go ahead, Ty.
I was going to say this. I think that trade is the rare situation because it doesn't happen often where both guys benefited. You know what I'm saying? Tyrese Halliburton is playing great in Indiana, and De'Aaron Fox, even though, I mean, like I said, he's putting up similar numbers, even though I know Danny said he hasn't been consistent. I mean, 47, 50. I mean, I know it's a big difference, but I'm just saying, like, I think he's always played pretty good. He just never had nobody else to go with him. Like,
that's where he benefited the most, though.
Yeah. I got you, but what I'm saying is, like, he's always had guys like, what's the dude name from Duke? I can't even think of his daggone name now. But, like, they draft him in the top 5. He doesn't pan out. You get
Bagley.
Yeah, Bagley. They had Marvin Bagley. You had Willie Cauley-Stein. Like, you had all these different guys while he was there, and to me, none of them really played good enough. You know what I mean? Like, I think that him having Sabonis, like, really, like, it really works out for him and Sabonis.
Well, it makes sense because you have shooters now. You have Huerter who can shoot, who can do everything, honestly, but he can shoot. He spreads the floor. You got Sabonis now. DeAndre doesn't really have to play point, and Sabonis is that point forward that almost like he's not as good as Joker, of course, but I mean, he's almost like a Joker. He runs the floor.
His daddy. He like his daddy.
Basically, he's like his father, right? But the fact that now,
but it's like they built the team around him, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fox all he has to do is score. He'll get you some assists too, but it's no pressure on him now. He's not bringing the ball up and setting everything up because he's not really a point guard. Fox is a scorer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it just makes sense.
Because I feel like before, they wasn't really drafting guys that fit him. They was just drafting who they thought was the best available. And you know how that is. You start stacking talent, but the pieces ain't going together. So they just wasn't going nowhere.
Right.
Well, where there are surprises, there inevitably are disappointments. So I'm going to come to Danny Thompson first. What team has disappointed you the most so far, sir?
The Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have disappointed me. I know Lonzo Ball is not healthy, but anytime you have three guys with all-star caliber talent in DeMar DeRozan, you have Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, you have a high draft pick in Patrick Williams. You have guys they brought in like Alex Caruso, and for the Bulls to be where they are right now, it's extremely disappointing. I know Lonzo Ball is a talented player, but he cannot be that much of a difference to the reason why the Bulls are not a top 6 or 7 team in the Eastern Conference, especially when we made the playoffs last year. It's almost to the point where it's almost detonation time in Chicago. So I think the Bulls are the most disappointing.
I don't know about almost detonation time. When you have a veteran like DeMar DeRozan, and for your team to be good, he has to play at an MVP level. He's never played at MVP level his entire career. So for the Bulls to be relevant last year, he was playing like an MVP. I don't know if that's a great formula for success. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that was supposed to be a long-term plan anyway.
No, I think the thing with DeRozan is that you have to, DeRozan makes DeRozan's mid-range shot and Zach LaVine's ability to get to the basket is made so much easier with when you have a guy like Lonzo Ball in the lineup. You have a 20-10 guy in Nikola Vucevic pretty much his entire career in Orlando, who's struggling to figure out after almost 2 years to fit in Chicago. And the other part is Patrick Williams has never taken the next step. That's the other problem. Guys that have never taken the next step, Kobe White, Patrick Williams, those guys haven't taken the next turn. And Chicago is basically a neutral. And, I know you talk about DeRozan need to have an MVP year, but DeRozan is still putting up, 26, 27 points a game, and they're still a neutral right now.
Can I say something? They're missing a point guard. I know you said Lonzo Ball. I don't think he's that important. I don't even think it's Lonzo Ball. It's a point guard. You got to remember, you mentioned those guys, Williams, Kobe, the guys that haven't ascended, but those are the type of guys that need a point guard who can distribute the ball, get them better shots, get them easy shots to keep going. When you don't have that in the Billy Donovan offense, which all we know is just like it was in OKC, either DeMar has the ball, he's going to run the play and shoot, or it's going to be LaVine. So if you don't have that point guard with those type of players that you mentioned earlier, plus a DeMar and a Zach, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So they need a point guard badly.
Question. So last year when Lonzo went out, who was getting most of the starting reps?
It was
what's the shoe?
I don't want to say his name.
AO?
They called it AO. Yeah, AO came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because AO came in.
But
Okay.
it
went down though. You saw them decline.
in the second half of the season, they went down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I picked Chicago too. After thinking about it though, it's like I'm disappointed, but I'm really not that disappointed. And the reason why is this: if you look at the top teams in the East, most of them all did one thing this offseason except for the Bucks. They all made big moves. Like that picking up, I don't care what nobody say. I feel like that picking up Malcolm Brogdon for the Celtics was what I think it's a big move. And I really hate that what's the name got hurt, and I think that would have been a big move too. The 76ers for them is more so health, and like Danny alluded to earlier, that you get DeAndre Melton for Danny Green, somebody I think is a little over the hill too. And then the Nets is health. The Cavaliers, you get Donovan Mitchell. So you look at all these teams getting better. The Bucks didn't really. The Bulls didn't really, and then they don't have a point guard. I think not having Lonzo hurt them. Second half of the season, we kind of seen them go back to like being the Bulls that they had been previously. I think that hurts them, but I think it's time to blow it up. I'm more disappointed in the front office. I think it's time to blow it up. It's been time.
But Tiras, like they got the same record as the Wizards, man.
I got
There's
it.
way more talent in Chicago than there's Washington.
No, I got it. Like they got talent. Don't get me wrong. I like Zach LaVine, but it's a lot of turmoil between them boys. They saying that that everybody, people are unhappy, man. You know how it is when these $100 million guys start getting unhappy.
Yeah, so we're going to transition
Send them somewhere where you're going to be happy. Send them to LA. But,
I will say the one part I get where you're going with it, Ty, and I was thinking that like the East just better, right? Like the East overall from top to bottom. And even my teams just like teams were good last year, right? But when everybody's healthy, and I don't disagree with Brogdon being a good pickup, but that team was in the NBA Finals last year. Yeah. Right, like Boston was really, really good. That's a huge addition, like to make them better. But they was going to be good regardless. Yeah, Milwaukee was going to be good regardless.
But Ray, the reason why I say that is when you know, even though Boston made the NBA Finals last year, right? What's the one weakness you would have said that Boston had? In my opinion, is the bench. I would have said the bench wasn't all that, and I would have said they needed a point guard. And I feel like you go get Malcolm Brogdon.
They needed a point guard to do what?
To distribute at times.
Tell me the last team in the NBA that had a pass first, distributing, facilitating point guard that won a championship.
I ain't necessarily saying that, but what I'm saying is this: But what I'm saying is this. No, but Ray, what I'm saying is this:
you just said it was a weakness. I'm asking how is it?
It was a weakness because for one,
how?
Okay, listen. For one, when you had guys, the guards you had wasn't consistent. None of them couldn't really shoot. They either couldn't shoot or they couldn't guard nobody. Like when you had Kemba can't guard nobody. So now you get Malcolm Brogdon. To me, he's the best of both worlds. He can catch and shoot. He can play. He can facilitate a little bit. But then not only that, he could play defense.
Right.
He keep Boston everything they're missing, in my opinion.
Can I answer the question? I think I understand what you're saying, Ray. I do. And it makes a lot of sense. But I think what Todd's trying to say is, even if he's not getting 8 assists, and to your point, like you said, what other finals team had a second string point guard that distributed the ball? That's fine. But I don't even think it's just distributing the ball. It's running the offense. You still need somebody to come in and run the offense, and he can distribute. You don't have anybody on that team that can distribute. Even though who's the defensive player of the year last year? I can't think of his name. Smart is getting like close to 7 assists, if not 7 assists. But last year, you didn't have that. So that comes in handy, you would think, prior to the season that, okay, we need somebody who can distribute the ball, give better shots, get easier shots, who can score and play defense. So, but I get what both of you are saying. I just think, like you said, Bulls the only one that didn't make a big pickup.
I think the idea of a point guard, when people go, oh, this team is lacking at the point guard position because they don't have a guy who can do X, Y, and Z on offense. And I just look at the history of the game, like it's a whole new era of basketball. That kind of runs into the Steph Curry argument, right? Which we're about to get to go here shortly.
But I also think though, but Ray, we watched this because we all were in Atlanta during the finals. One of the issues that Boston had was being in the half court. Like Marcus Smart has no point guard IQ. So I get where Tiras coming from.
You need somebody to make everybody
half court
scoring.
You have Brogdon in the half court making decisions. It's a lot easier for Malcolm Brogdon to make decisions, and you trust him more because he doesn't turn the ball over compared to Marcus Smart.
So just on that note, if I was looking at the Boston Celtics and I said their weakness is playmaking, somebody who can get everybody else easy shots, you know what my fix to that problem would have been? My fix would have been Jason Tatum has to take that next step in his game. Because when you look at the history of the game, I mean, we can go back to the 2000s. The Lakers never had a facilitating guy, and they won 5 championships.
And to answer your question, it's Toronto, Ray.
And even then, that was the worst of Kyle Lowry, right? Like so,
and he still averaged like 7 or 8 assists that year.
Right? Right. So Kyle Lowry, we're gonna go with Kyle Lowry. 1 out of the whole decade. We can go back to
you said when's the last time? I just gave you an answer.
Right, I understand that. So, and it's been 3 championships since then.
You act like 3 is a whole lot.
And then it was 7 before that.
Right, yeah.
But Ralph, he asked the question, I answered. You can't.
No, he gave it to you.
I'm with you. I'm giving
he gave it to you. Yeah, he gave it to you.
Now, granted, I don't think they win if Steph and them don't get hurt, but hey.
We can go back to even the 90s. Like, realistically, far as a star point guard that's going to facilitate and do X, Y, and Z, like Magic Johnson's the last guy, or Zeke, to win that way.
No, but,
right?
But when you say star, that's not what Malcolm Brogdon is, though.
Not even a star.
You know what I'm saying?
Tony Parker won, though.
Not even a star. And Tony
Parker wasn't.
Go look at Tony Parker. He more of a scorer.
But he can run offense. Parker run offense, though.
But he's a scorer.
Parker runs offense.
He's a scorer, right? Tony Parker give you 20 before he give you 10.
Yeah, but he can still run an offense though, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think maybe what I use the wrong terminology when I first said what I said. I more so mean you have to have somebody that can initiate the offense and get these other guys easier points. Because my thing is this: if you notice, like Danny and them said, they struggled in the half court. Why? Because your best two players trying to go 1-on-1 all the time. Get yourself an easy 6 to 8 points. Well, and then you can still go 1-on-1 because you're gonna have to at some point.
This is gonna be a perfect segue too. Go ahead, Raphael. Then we're gonna segue.
I'm about to segue to it right now.
Hold on, before you do that, Dan.
Okay, go ahead.
For me, they struggled in the half court for the same reason I keep telling people, and people know how I feel about Steph Curry, as great as he is. But if you look at how the Golden State Warriors were constructed last year, they were constructed just how they were in 2015. When you have 4 or 5 guys between the heights of 6'4" and 6'8" that can switch everything on defense. So now when you go out there, it's Klay Thompson, it's Draymond Green, it's Iggy, it's Andrew Wiggins, it's Juan Toscano-Anderson, it's Gary Payton. Like, they had a lot of guys that can defend. So they're going to throw Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum a whole bunch of different looks. Like, think about what Tatum did in the playoffs. He scorched Greek, he scorched Jimmy, he scorched KD. And then he got to Golden State, and it was a whole different ballgame.
I think he was hurt, though. I think he was hurt. And it came out late. I think he was hurt. I think it showed he wasn't playing like he normally – you could see it.
Hold on, but listen.
Golden State's good defense.
But no, I'm not taking that. Yeah, listen, I agree.
Sometimes a team just has your number. Did you see what happened when Boston played Golden State this year? And Tatum's having a career year. He was trash against Golden State when they played this year. Some teams just have your number.
I'm not taking anything away from the defense of Golden State, but Tatum, he wasn't aggressive like he was during the playoffs. He wasn't going to the rack. He was hurt. It came out.
And that's what Malcolm Brogdon was.
Yeah, it came out. But
that series.
But this is
you
what
have
I'm saying.
You put Brogdon in that series last year, it's a different story.
But this is what I was going to say.
I'm not coming to you, Ralph.
Okay.
Segue right to your disappointment, sir.
No, but I was going to say, and this is not even talking about the disappointment, but the fact that, so on one end, like Ray said, they're playing a better defensive team, but then on the other end, Golden State is a great offensive team. So you can't do 1-on-1, you score, I score. That's not going to work against a team like Golden State. Yeah. So they had to get a Malcolm Brogdon who can score, who can facilitate, who can run the offense, who can settle things down.
Also defend too.
And defend, right. So you had to get that because you felt like you were going to play Golden State again.
Because my thing is this, Ralph. It's like, I know y'all saying about Marcus Smart. You was in a position last year where you had to play him all the time because what guards did you have coming off the bench? What you have? Dennis Schroeder and what?
They didn't press Pritchard.
You see what I'm saying? Like, but my thing is this: you ready to play Pritchard, Schroeder, or Brogdon,
or White? They didn't really use White that much either.
But we talk about I can't believe none of y'all. I understand Chicago. Yes, they're disappointing. I really didn't think Chicago would be that good after what we saw last year. Before, in the second half of the season, and they couldn't beat a good team. Then they lost Lonzo, which Lonzo was going the second half of the season last year. But we just going to I know Ray, this is Ray's show, and I know y'all want to respect him, and that's just them boys. But y'all not going to Golden State? Come on, Golden State? Really? One game above 500? The champs?
Steph
and it was weird because
how long was Steph hurt?
Steph is having no, they were losing when Steph was playing.
They really was losing while he was playing.
Yeah, Steph has been great this year, but they're still losing. Y'all don't think that's the most disappointing thing? It might be the most disappointing thing in sports this year. The fact that Golden State is one game above 500. That's because they've gone on a winning streak or been playing well as of late since he came back.
He was on our 11th quarterback last night. I don't know if there's anything more disappointing.
Come on, man. Y'all didn't pick Golden State?
I didn't because I think at some point Golden State doesn't care whether they have home court advantage in the playoffs. They don't care.
I get that.
I think they don't care. The whole thing is, as long as they're healthy when you get to April, because nobody, I know Ray's been saying this literally since the beginning of time, since the beginning of Steph Curry's three-point reign. You don't want to play the Golden State Warriors, and the Warriors aren't scared to play you at home or on the road. They're only caring about health.
But Danny,
my thing is,
can I say this? Can I say this real quick? But Danny, you cannot. You're right. I've said that, but you can't tell me they're the most disappointing team. Steve Kerr's been disappointed. It's not like they've been like they're not doing a Popovich. Like, all right, we just going no. He said it. Hold on. He said his starters down not because they needed rest, because he was upset because those other players, y'all not playing well. Y'all need to come in. So y'all got to play this whole game. Forget load management. No, I'm playing them just because they're not playing well. Steph throwing mouthpieces. Draymond Green is upset. Everybody is disappointed. They mad. So you can't say they're disappointed.
But Ralph, I'm more disappointed with Kuminga. And I'm more disappointed with the fact that we didn't see much of Marcus Moody and James Wiseman. I think I'm more disappointed with those three compared to the fact that, like I said, I'm disappointed with those guys.
Now, Ralph, I'll say this. I would be more disappointed if they ended the season right here. I think I'm going to say this. I think Golden State is like Kansas City in a sense of we always know there's going to be a run. And the NBA season is so long. That's why I was so reluctant to put Sacramento, because I'm thinking of the thing like this. Am I saying at this midseason point right now, who am I most disappointed, surprised, MVP, blah, blah, blah? Or am I saying who do I think is going to finish the year? You get what I'm saying? Because it's two separate answers for me.
No, but what's the point of the show? What are we doing? We're evaluating what?
No, but what I'm saying, Ralph, is if I'm projecting out, let's say if I'm projecting out, I would say, hey man, I don't think the Kings are going to sustain.
No, right.
Yeah, I'm surprised by where they're at right now.
I get that, but that's not
going to be like Chicago last year.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about mid-season so far. So far, Golden State has been the most disappointing team.
What I'm saying is this. I know Golden State will make a run at some point. I just know
But that's not the topic, though.
That's not the topic. That's not the topic. Go ahead, Ray.
I will say two things. Thing number one, as of right now, I think Golden State is the 6th seed, right? And I want to say probably after Sacramento, 4 through like 9 and 10 are all separated by 1 or 2 games. So coming off a championship, no, they shouldn't be one of those middle of the pack teams. They should be up there with Memphis. They should be up there with Denver. So that's disappointing. Surprisingly, nobody said Phoenix.
Injuries though.
They've been destroyed.
That's been injured. They've been injured, right? Come on, let's be real. I'm starting to pick them, but injuries.
I just want to say, since somebody been back from the injury, they're averaging like 24 and 10. But we'll talk about that on a different show.
Go ahead, Ray.
Above 50%. I'm just saying, what I'm saying. I don't know what the dude's name is. His name might be Chris Paul, and he might be from Winston-Salem, but I'm not sure.
And they might be the 10th, 11th. Rapheal, sir. We're going to transition. And you know what? It's funny. Y'all talked about the NBA season being long. I was looking up this, and I tried to make where I'm just hosting and letting y'all do y'all thing, right? But I was going to chime in on the surprising teams. And I got ready to pick Utah, and I was like, them boys done dropped about 11th. Like, y'all remember early in the season, Utah was top 3, top 4 in the West, and they just done plummeted.
I'm still surprised they like at 50%.
Yeah, we have like 10 wins right now.
Right.
But Ray, that's what I'm trying to say, because if Golden State, let's say right now Golden State going in, I'm not saying that happened. They're on a 2-game winning streak right now, right? Let's say they finish out with a 10-game winning streak. They ain't gonna be 6 no more. I ain't saying they're gonna be 1 or 2.
I mean, you already know, like real live TV, like you, my dog. But I get their point that this is the midseason review. Like, we can't project out. This is like, as of right now, they shouldn't be a 6. I get it, but you ain't wrong to in Chicago neither. Like sitting at wherever they sit. So I'm coming to you, Ralph. Individual players that haven't lived up to what you thought they should have done this year.
So I'm going to jump on you all's bandwagon since y'all saying Chicago. It's Zach LaVine. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not even more so because of his point, because right now I think he moved it up. He's like 23.6 per game. But just the way he's played, the way he's carried himself, he looks like he's not happy. And I mean, I understand that, but you're a pro. Bro, come on, man. I mean, we saw it last year. You was taking them dumb shots. Yes, I cover the Hawks, but I'm a Bulls fan. I'm from Chicago. Taking stupid shots in the playoffs, and it's like transition to this season where he's doing the same thing. He just looked like he's not enthused. he never played defense, but give a little effort. Even on offense, if he's not touching the ball, he's not doing anything else. I mean, you see little spurts maybe in certain games, but for some reason, he's not the Zach LaVine. You don't go from 26 to 23 like that and playing like that. I mean, shooting bad percentage from the three. And, I mean, that's what you knew he could do is shoot the three or drive to the hole. And it's like, I'm just so disappointed in the way he's playing. And I'm at this point, trade that dude, man. If you're going to play like this, we don't want no punks in Chicago like that, bro. Because you better than that. You better than that.
And he just got the bag.
Yeah, you just got the money and you playing like this? Dude, we could have saved it for somebody else.
How it works.
Talk to me, Danny. I gotta save Tiras Ray for last. That's why I ain't put this overlay up yet, because y'all gonna get a kick out of it. Talk to me, Danny.
I think Dillon Brooks of Memphis. He got hurt last year, but when he got hurt, he was averaging 19 points a game. Remember, when Memphis got eliminated last year, he had 31 in that last game, the elimination game. He had more games over 20 points than he did under 20 points. This year, Dillon Brooks has only had 10 games at a 45 of 20 or more this season. Shooting percentages are down, and he forgot how to play defense. He's actually fallen behind in the pecking order for Memphis. He was really, to me, he was one of the, I think, the second best player on Memphis last year. Actually, second or third best player, depending on who you ask. Him and Jaren Jackson. Now he's fallen behind Desmond Bane. Hell, he's even fallen behind Steven Adams on the importance chart. He's really gone missing to me. Like, when I watch Memphis games, I forget he's even on the court half the time. I mean, we all watch Ja, but I forget that Dillon Brooks is there. And so if Memphis is going to make a run at this thing, they're behind Denver. And I'm not sure everybody feels about Denver, but they're behind Denver. If they're going to make a championship run in the Western Conference, if you're going to have to beat Golden State at the end of the road in the final boss, you're going to need Dillon Brooks to revert back to last season and not play like this season. So to me, I thought Brooks was going to take the leap, and he hasn't.
You know what I think it is? I think the fact that, yeah, he's your best defender, but I think this year, and he's talked about how they made him the sole defender. Like, that's what he's guarding the best player every night. I don't care who it is now. And I think it's taken away from his game. Some people can't handle that. Some people can't. That's why you think of people like Mike, MJ, why he was great, because he could play both ends. You got Kobe and all of those players, but it's hard to do that. And I think it's taken away from his game because, like you said, he looks horrible.
They missed Melton because of that.
I don't know, man. I think it's clear to me who the second best player on Memphis is. And it ain't no daggone Dillon Brooks or no Jaren Jackson Jr. It's Desmond Bane. I don't think it's up for debate. But that's just my opinion. Now, the reason why I'm disappointed, and I took a different route than these guys, man. I'm disappointed in these guys' bodies, man. Like, AD, oh, come on. Why you got that picture of AD? Like, you disrespectful, man. Like, why would you do that? But AD and Zion, man, like, when Zion, like, these two guys, man, when they're playing, like, we heard my man said he playing football, we playing basketball. Zion hurt 2 days later. Like, it's to the point where it's like, I don't know if either one of these guys ever going to be healthy, man. And it's disappointing because I think they're both phenomenal players. We seen AD go on a tear right before he got hurt. Like, I don't know what the hell he was averaging, but he was putting up crazy numbers. As Shaq would say, Shaq-like numbers, right? Except for he was hitting free throws and everything else. But, they're putting up phenomenal numbers. Zion is amazing. I think if he's playing for New Orleans right now and he's not hurt, I feel like they're a top 3 team in the West. That's just my opinion. But I just feel like he makes them that much better, and he doesn't take nothing away from you because he's so efficient. Like, I don't know the last time we seen a guy that you don't got to run no plays for. You don't got to run anything for him, but at the end of the day, he'll still have 25, 10, and whatever, right? And he just, I don't know. He's just different. But I'm just disappointed in their bodies, man. Like, I need their bodies to hold up, man. Like, because I feel like both teams are two totally different teams when they're playing.
Why are you disappointed in this, Todd? I don't understand. I can see if you said you were disappointed if Ja been hurt all season or Jason Tatum. You picked the 2 guys that's been hurt their whole career, and you're disappointed?
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
Say Lonzo Ball.
Because when they were playing early in this season, they were phenomenal.
I'm surprised that AD came back. I'm happy that happened. I'm more shocked at that than disappointed.
What you mean?
That's what we do.
He's not grabbing no 10 boards.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, so I will say this. It's interesting. Ty done talked good about 2 Duke Blue Devils tonight on the show. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's feeling sympathetic because of what's going on with his 49. Let's move on. So I sat back and I said I would wait to interject when I saw fit. And based on y'all talking about disappointments, and since none of y'all said it, this is the perfect time for the Sports Reporters Without Pay segment of don't shoot the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger. And it's amazing to me that we talking disappointments. Imagine being a number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Imagine having all this talent. Imagine people calling you the next Magic or the next LeBron or at the very worst Jason Kidd. Then just imagine waking up one day and just choosing to be ass. Imagine just waking up saying, I'm not going to shoot the ball no more. I'm going to average 5 shots a game. I have all this talent, but I just don't like basketball. I don't want to play anymore. Sir, you are by far the biggest disappointment in the history of basketball. I don't understand this guy. I don't understand a dude of his caliber talent just waking up saying, you know what, I just don't want to play basketball no more. I'm gonna shoot the ball 5 times a game. I'm 6'10". I have all the ability to do all these things. I can rebound. But no, I want to average. I want to be a more athletic, more talented, but I'm still going to give you Draymond Green numbers. That's what I'm gonna do. Forget the fact that I was number 1 pick. Forget the fact that as a rookie, I was 16, 8, and 7. I'm just going to keep getting worse and worse. Can somebody explain this? Why Ben Simmons don't want to play basketball anymore?
Yeah, that's a great pick. I thought that was kind of like too easy. So
I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. I was just giving him a season.
I just no. He needs to be when you can't.
I'm trying.
Score when you can't score, or you can't. You don't. I'm sorry. When you can't attempt to score, and I'm not saying can't as far as he doesn't have the ability. I'm saying the fact that you have the ability and you won't do it. You play scared. Like really, you feel sorry for him because I've been saying this. He really did. I guess he, not saying that I didn't take him seriously, but it's like just the timing of it is like, all right, when you say you had mental issues, like, come on, bro. It don't make. It was like, I don't know. But that dude got mental issues for real. He just looked like a deer caught in headlights. It's disappointing. It's sad.
Hey, Ralph, I'm going to bring this full circle. A comparison I always give when I be dissing Bill Russell, but I always tell people say Kobe Bryant's inefficient. For his career, Kobe Bryant is 44% or something like that, right? 44, 45, somewhere in there. Bill Russell, a center, played center his whole career, is 43%. I always use that reference so people understand, right? You remember Steph's 50, 40, 90 season? You remember what he shot from 3 that year? 45. He shot 45.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Do y'all know Ben Simmons is shooting 44% from the free throw line?
And I think, honestly, I think that's what in my opinion,
44.
I think the biggest issue with Ben Simmons, and I've been saying this for a while, is his free throw. I think he's scared to try and score the ball because he's afraid he's going to get fouled, and he know he cannot make free throws. For what reason, I do not know. Now, at first, I was kind of skeptical about the back thing, right? But I've had back issues myself, and he said he was going up the steps and he pulled his back. I mean, I bent down and picked a piece of paper one time and pulled my back. So I understand the back stuff, but I think he can't shoot free throws and he's scared to do anything. I think he's just traumatized going to the free throw line.
Ben Simmons is the walking version of what happened in Space Jam. When the powers got taken away by the Monstars, Ben Simmons is the
somebody contact the Monstars and tell them Ben Simmons need his limited powers back.
I just don't. I don't understand why he can't shoot free throws. Doesn't make sense to me.
So listen, again, man, we kicking it here with controversy, Mr. Raphael. We kicking it with Danny Thompson, Mr. Tiras Ray. Since we talking about Tiras Ray, we're gonna take a break, pay some bills, and we'll be right back with more Ball Don't Lie. have always said and will continue to say, some of the most entertaining sports talk you will ever see is Say What Said Again. You can catch them boys Tuesday nights, 8:30, Facebook Live with the producer, the founder, the host, the big guard himself, Mr. Tiras Ray. No, I don't like that. Let's go this way. Mr. Tiras Ray. And every once in a while, you might see one of these brothers pull up, both repping the 3-point conversion. Mr. Danny Thompson, Mr. Rapheal. We are back in the building. Y'all know I like to say over here at Ball Don't Lie, talk to me, I talk back. We got a comment. Do y'all think there's a team that they can save him? I guess we talking about Ben Simmons. And I'll start off by saying, I don't think he could have had a more ideal situation than where he's at. Right, because he got two killers. He got two guys that it don't require him to do a whole lot, but the things he's good at, which is play defense, rebound, and facilitate. And he's not even doing those things at a high level because he don't want to be a threat. So we can't play. You know, he's playing 27 minutes a game because they can't trust him on the floor. But I'm gonna kick that around. Who can save him?
I know who. But you're right, Ray. I thought that is the most ideal place he could have been, to where he don't have to. They don't have to depend on the scoring like that. You can still get 12 points. But the only team right now that probably could save him is the Harlem Globetrotters. And it'll get him to score, interact with the crowd, and it get his confidence up. And then he might come back. That's the only team, bro.
I think Utah. I think the only place in the NBA might be Utah, because I think either Utah or Toronto. And the reason why I say those two places is this. Not one bit of media cares about the Raptors in the United States. All right. Nobody covers the Raptors in the United States. How often you see Raptors games on television? And Utah, because he's out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, y'all mentioned it, right? I mean, everything. They had the perfect situation. You're telling me you come into Brooklyn with all these things, this baggage. And the fact of Kyrie Irving's baggage is way bigger than yours. And no one pays you any attention. You should have had plenty of time to get yourself together while everybody was blitzing Kyrie Irving and has still been blitzing Kyrie Irving. It's now you're the focal point because Kyrie's got back on track. Kevin Durant's playing at all-star level, and you're the reason why Brooklyn is not the best team in the Eastern Conference right now. So if not Toronto, it's Utah. Otherwise, like Raph said, it's the Globetrotters are playing in Puerto Rico.
I'm going to say Golden State. The reason why, if he don't play right, I think Draymond might punch him or something, man. And I think with him, not to say that he's Draymond, but I think in a similar situation, because Draymond can't shoot and Draymond will shoot, and Draymond don't care if he make it or miss it. But I think the difference would be if I had Ben Simmons. I don't know, just give an example. Let's say I had Ben Simmons at the 5 with Steph, Clay, Poole, and somebody else. I mean, he'd be able to go to the lane. I mean, I don't know. I think. I thought before Golden State made the trade to get D'Angelo Russell, I thought they should have tried to get Ben Simmons. I thought it would have been an ideal situation for once Draymond got a little older. But
I mean, I didn't want to be the one, but Golden State will be the most ideal thing, only because, the comparison I just made, he's basically a more athletic, more talented. I mean, he does all the things Draymond Green does well, and since he just decided he don't want to shoot no more, that would be ideal, but I think he just doesn't want to play basketball. Shout out to Rapheal for this. That's it. Simmons as a Harlem Globetrotter is what we're doing, man. So moving on, man. We talk surprises, we talk disappointments. Let's move on to some of these awards. 6th Man of the Year. Danny Thompson, I'm coming to you first, sir. Who you got?
He's injured right now, but to me, it's Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis in Milwaukee. He's a double-double coming off the bench. In a team that has Giannis, that does Giannis things. We're talking about the play of Brook Lopez shooting a 3-point ball. We all about Drew Holiday. Chris Middleton is still not 100%, but Bobby Portis has been phenomenal. I mean, he's a walking double-double almost every single night on the floor. Plus, he's giving you he's taking the range to the outside, and he just does what you asked him to do. He can play the 4 and the 5 in that Milwaukee offense, but he's the reason why Milwaukee is where they are, and they can't win the Eastern Conference without him. So I'm going to take Bobby Portis.
Talk to me, Ralph.
It's Russ. I said he would be the rookie. I mean, the 6th Man of the Year, and he's playing like it. Bobby Portis is balling. You're right. It's a great argument. But Russ, as much as people give him flack for not shooting or whatever, I mean, honestly, it's not LeBron has kept the Lakers in the game. LeBron, at this point, his scoring is not really the scoring and say, okay, he's the one keeping it. No, it's the second unit. He goes out and Russ leading that unit. You know, I mean, almost 16 a game, six rebounds, 7.5 assists. That's unheard of coming off the bench. I don't even think anyone's done something like that. I mean, I'm just going off memory now. Stats look like that. We can see 16 points winning, you know, 6 man a year, or even 20 points, but 16, 6, and 7, or if you want to give him the 8 because he's 7.5, that sounds like 6 man to me.
Piggyback on it, Ty, since you picked the same person.
Yeah, I mean, I picked Russ, man, and for different reasons. Well, for one, I think there's been some games because honestly, for as much as it's been, LeBron's been in and out the lineup, AD's been hurt. Russell Westbrook has been the one consistent thing. He might have missed 1 or 2 games this year, but he's pretty much been playing and competing every night. I had to have a homer pick, man. I'm just gonna be honest, man. I can't pick LeBron for nothing. I can't pick AD for nothing. My team sucks. I had to go Westbrook on something. But I think Westbrook's having a good year off the bench. I mean, I do think he's having a good year. If you look at his numbers, 16, like Ralph just said, 16, 6, and 7, like those phenomenal numbers. I wish he was more efficient, but that's just Russell Westbrook.
I just want to say, I just look back. Kevin McHale was 6 man a year when he was about 20 and 11, something crazy like that. 20 and 10. Not outside the box. Jordan Poole's having a phenomenal year. And I just wanted to give him a mention. The problem with his 6 man status is, if you look at his overall numbers, they're great. But he's really at his best when he starts. Like Jordan Poole is probably like 14 or 15 a game when he's off the bench. He's like 27 a night when he starts. It's like unbelievable, like the difference. And he's getting close to the same amount of minutes. He just thrives so much better in the starting lineup than he does coming off the bench.
See, I have Poole because he started 27 games this season. So I have him on my 6 man list because he started more than half the
24 in the first quarter.
Wow. And I'll say this, and I have another segment I do sometimes called Put Some Respect on His Name. I'm hard on Russell Westbrook. But let's just say he wins 6 man of the year. Y'all know what kind of territory that would put him in? Like, it would be a class of 2, right?
Harden.
Scoring titles, assist titles, MVP, and 6 man on your resume.
Harden. Yeah, that's Harden.
Him and Harden.
Yeah, him and Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's only them 2 and Russ. I mean, them 2 and LeBron with an MVP scoring title and an assist title to their name. No, Big O. I think Big O too.
Mm-hmm. Big O, yeah.
I thought you were saying MVP and 6 man. I know Bill Walton did. That's why I said that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm doing the ESPN thing. I'm gonna add.
Right, doing the ad.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it.
He got 6. He got the most assists while wearing a headband.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
No, that's pretty sick, man. As a matter of fact, going back to my time on Battlegrounds, Ralph asked the best 6 man ever, and I used Harden. Then I used the rest of his resume to make my case.
Right. I was like, come on. Smart though.
Let's shift gears, man. You guys were pretty much unanimous on Coach of the Year, so we're just gonna kick it around. It's pretty self-explanatory. Y'all had them as the surprise team, and nobody expected them to be good, so we're gonna give the credit to the coach. But yeah, y'all talk to me real quick. Talk to me, Danny, about Mike Brown.
They got 27 wins. They won 30 games last year. Enough said. And they're 3rd in the Western Conference. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got for you. When you do all that with that roster, that's it.
But just the fact that he's coaching this team, I mean, it's a lot of coaches doing well, but the only other coach that I would have put in is I can't remember his name. I know I was gonna do this. Boston head coach.
Okay.
I can't.
Joe Mazzoni.
Yeah. I thought, I was going to say him, but again, just what Mike Brown, he's really coaching this team. And I don't even think Joe he's coaching, but I don't think he's doing as much. But with Mike Brown, you changed the whole culture around the way they play, the scheme, their mindset, and taught them how to play with each other. I mean, so brilliant to have him have Sabonis be the point forward. It just makes sense. Coach of the year.
I had Mike Brown too. Originally, I had Jock Vaughn, and I changed it. I thought about it, and I picked Mike Brown. But the reason why I did say Jock Vaughn was simply because of the way that Brooklyn kind of started. You start, they get rid of Steve Nash, and then not instantly, but you know what I mean. Over a period of time, they got better.
Sir, Don't come on my show and Mike Care Tenuto. Don't give me one answer and
I just
have
said
me
originally
go.
I had Jock Vaughn, but I changed it.
But then
But I
you gave
think
your
Mike
whole
Brown.
reason
I
for
picked
Jock
Mike
Vaughn.
Brown.
I done built a whole soliloquy so I can come in behind y'all and talk about Jock Vaughn. That was my whole thing. I wanted to talk about Jock Vaughn because none of y'all picked him.
Y'all kind of look alike. I
remember
mean,
October 30th, 2022. What was special about that day? The Brooklyn Nets were 1-5 and dead last and easy. Y'all remember that? I can't get my spiel now because you're going to pick Mike Brown and tell us about Jock Vaughn.
look, Puff Daddy, you hosting or what you doing?
Go ahead, man. Talk to us about Jock Vaughn, man. Career
you go ahead. I just feel like, man, a lot of people kind of wrote Brooklyn off, man. They was having issues with Kyrie when they wasn't necessarily having issues with Kyrie, but Kyrie got suspended, and then he comes back, and a lot of people were saying that he wasn't playing good. But I mean, Jock Vaughn, I think Jock Vaughn's been doing a great job.
Do you want to talk to us about Mike Brown at all? The
person besides the fact that he was career over with the Lakers. He got fired in Cleveland by LeBron. I'm just playing. I do think Mike Brown is doing a good job, man. Maybe that just shows me that Luke Walton just can't freaking coach. But I mean,
Luke Walton didn't have Domantas Sabonis.
He didn't.
But he still didn't do well. I don't think he did well.
Time out. I just want to say real quick. Earlier in the show, we just talked about the trade, and I was talking about how that changed perspective.
But see, this is what I think, Ray. I think certain coaches are made for certain rosters, right? In my opinion, if you get someone like a Luke Walton, and I think this is the thing that the Lakers kind of was hard on him about, I don't think he did a good job at developing some of those young guys. His staff, I don't think they did a great job at developing some young guys. I just don't.
No, I think what it is with Walton was every scheme is not going to work with every team.
That's true.
And I think he failed at that. What he did in Golden State, and he tried to bring it to Sacramento, and it didn't work.
So what
like
Golden
that.
State has done to the NBA is created pace and space, right? Do you think that system works a whole lot better with Domantas Sabonis?
All day.
I'm just saying, like, I get it. Sometimes as a coach, you try to fit a square peg in a round hole and it doesn't work. But we just talked about how atrocious the roster was, and bringing in a guy like Domantas Sabonis, you get some value with Tyrese Halliburton because he plays the same position as your star, right? And you bring back a stud, and now you have a legit dynamic duo, which we've seen time and time again in this league. You kind of need to have to be successful.
No, I understand that, but I still don't think it just didn't work. I'm not saying he's a horrible coach.
His system didn't work.
All I'm saying is that system didn't work with that team. And I just think that was the problem. It just didn't work with that team. Now, could he go somewhere else and run it with other players? Probably so. But
probably the ones they got right now.
Maybe. But I don't
think Sabonis in that point forward kind of role. Oh
yeah, maybe.
But Walton never used him in that point forward role. He tried to do some. Golden State type offense.
But he got him mid-season, and he didn't have a preseason to prepare with him. He didn't have a training camp. He got a mid-season.
No, that's fair. But I just don't think we give Mike Brown enough credit as far as being a coach. I think in LA, he just got a raw deal because of when everything was going in LA. But look at what he did in Cleveland. I mean, come on, man. They still went to the finals.
Because when he was in LA, we had Steve Nash and all that, right?
Yeah, but all that it just didn't work out. Even though they cheated him.
He didn't have
a Steve Nash team?
No, that was D'Antoni.
No, he had Kobe. He had late in the game Kobe.
No, he had Dwight. He had Dwight, Steve Nash, and Kobe. He was there with Dwight. Dwight was there with Nash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had Nash. Yeah, it didn't work out.
Hey, no. Y'all remember, they fired that man 4 games into the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got a raw deal. It was just a raw deal with everything that happened.
I want to make sure to the viewers that we understand. He didn't get for a whole year.
He coached the Lakers 2013 and 2012.
Right, but what happened? Go look how many games he coached in 2013.
Right.
5, and then
year before
he got a raw deal. That's all I say. He just got a raw deal.
Yeah, but for the record, the year before was before Nash and Dwight Howard.
Right. It was before. Yeah,
because he had Gasol.
And the real deal, honestly, want to be for real. When they went and got Nash and Dwight Howard, they wanted D'Antoni the whole time.
Yeah,
which I didn't think that.
He got a raw deal. He got a raw deal. Yeah, he can coach. So look what he did in the Olympics. Was it Nigeria?
Yeah.
He coached Nigeria. Look what he did with them and how they were playing well. And he can coach. He can coach.
All right, let's shift. We got a couple more topics before we get out of here. We're gonna talk most improved player. I'm coming to Tiras Ray first. Him and his busted camera.
Hey man, you need to watch your mouth, man. Because when I pull up, I don't want to hear that mess, man.
You don't even drive. Come on, sir.
Yeah, I don't drive. Yeah, all right, you gonna know when I'm driving, boy. I tell you what, man, you a trip. I got Larry Marketing, man.
Thank you. Tell us that.
I feel like he's been having a phenomenal season.
Who?
Larry Martin.
Okay.
I came real close to picking Shea Gill, but I mean, I feel like you can't go wrong with either answer. But I think Larry Martin's been having a good season up in Utah. Nobody really expecting Utah to do nothing. Like I said, I know I picked them to have like 10, 15 wins this year. I think they've already exceeded that. So I think Larry Martin is a big reason why.
Talk to me, Danny.
I mean, I got Lauri Markkanen as well too. 25 points a game, 9 rebounds a game. Utah was the feel-good story for the majority of the first half of the season. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season when we get to the All-Star game in Utah, there'd be somebody wearing a Jazz jersey and not the fans wearing a Donovan Mitchell jersey in the All-Star game, an actual Jazz player. And Lauri Markkanen is an All-Star. I mean, when you increase your scoring average over 10 points a game, and he's shooting career-high numbers, he's averaging almost 9 rebounds a game, and he wasn't the prize of the deal. Everybody thought Colin Sexton was going to be the prize of that deal, and ended up being Lauri Markkanen. So for all that, and as much as I love SGA, I'm going to give it to Lauri on this one.
Yeah, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to pick SGA because I didn't think it would be fair. It was like Morant, even though Bane played on his team, but we shouldn't have gave that to Morant, even though he was the most improved player. But it was like, nah, he should be considered MVP. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I didn't pick Shea. I'm not saying Shea should be MVP, but I'm just saying, nah, Shea was averaging 24 a game. But like y'all said, everything y'all said, Lauri, he's shooting 52% from the field, which is crazy, 43 from 3 points. So for him to do that, and it's like a step. Like if is Lauri shooting 50, 40, 90? Or
No, he's 87.
Okay. But yeah, that's the only thing that's stopping him is the free throw shooting. But yeah, 43% from 3 point and still shooting over 52%. Yeah.
Well, we got on this. Lauri's definitely MIP. Shea nice, though he improved more than Lauri, who was a bad season from being out the league. He won't get the award. He won't be mentioned, but Jalen Brunson hooping too, man. Like Jalen Brunson went from a mid-tier level player to he showed up in the playoffs when Luka was out. Now this guy going out getting 23 a night, man. Like every time I look up, he dropping 30 on somebody. Like when New York picked him up, I didn't think it was a big deal.
You got the Knicks looking respectable.
Yeah, I was like, so what? And like, bro hooping. So the award we all been waiting on, man. Let's talk MVP. And there's quite a few candidates. I won't say who picked who, but let's talk MVP. We got the guy who's won it. We got the guy who's come in second the last 2 years. We got the guy got his team with the best record in the league and having a career year. So I'm gonna start with you, Danny. Who you got for your MVP, man?
The guy to the left, Nikola Jokic. Everybody's going to say it's voter fatigue, but here's the thing. You have a guy averaging a triple-double from the center position. We talk about Raph, talking about, rounding the guys up. He's at 9.9 assists a game. Like, he's seriously at triple-double from the center position. And he's on the – I have to say the best team, but he's putting up the best numbers. He's literally 1 3-pointer away from 60, 40, 80. And when I say 60, 40, 80, he's taken 100 threes. He's hit 39 of them. So technically, he's 1 3-pointer away from being 60, 40, 80 on top of a triple-double. He's got the stats, and he has every single analytical number possible that you're going to say. And I'm not even going to count record, but he is on the best team in the Western Conference. So when you average a triple-double from the center position, I know Russ kind of blanded the award, but it's still a triple-double from a center. That's completely different. So it's Joker for me.
Hey, real quick, and I have no issue with it being Joker. One, I will say voter fatigue is a real thing. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Magic, Shaq, Kobe, none of those guys ever won 3 in a row. Even Giannis' third year, he could, like, voters do really kind of go, okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's a real thing. But I have no problem with your pick. Only thing I would say, and the media is doing this idea, like when people go, he's doing this, and then they throw a caveat and go, from the center position. Like a center getting 10 assists is about as rare as a point guard getting 10 rebounds. You know what I mean? Like I would venture to say they're both equally impressive. I guess because we've seen it from 2 point guards, and 1 point guard has now numbed us to triple doubles. So again, it is rare seeing it from a
but when's the last time? But right here's the good thing: Jokic is second in the league in assist.
I mean, he should be if he getting 10. Yeah, right. I would think.
Yeah.
Or he's tied with. He's tied with. I think Trey. Yeah.
Who you got, Tyree?
I got Embiid, man. I got the guy that should have won last year. And I believe he'll win this year. He's leading the league in scoring, 10 rebounds, 53%. I just think I do think voter fatigue is real. Like you said, you mentioned, those guys have not won. I mean, it's like winning 3 in a row put him in such rare company. And I just think Embiid is just having an amazing season. Like I said, Harden and Maxey both been banged up, but he's kept the ship afloat, and he's been playing amazing. And speaking of MVP, I think I got a bad memory, but I think he gave somebody down there at the bottom like 48 and something the other night. I think he gave somebody down there at the bottom that somebody just picked like 48 and 12 the other night. I could be wrong though.
47 and 18.
Oh, my fault. 47 and 18. Okay, cool. But yeah. Like. I mean, he gave somebody down there that somebody picked as MVP. Them type of numbers. I'm just saying.
Hey, who's in first place though?
I don't care about that.
I
the West ain't not good. Yeah.
I did
East
a
is
show.
better than the West this year.
I don't know about that. I did a show. I don't know, a few weeks back, and we were talking about who's going to get left off the East All-Star starters, because you got to have 3 front court guys, and we were talking about Tatum and Embiid, Greek, and KD. This is before KD got hurt. And at the time, I said it's probably going to be Embiid, and it's really not a knock on him. His team they were lowest in the record at the time, and those other 3 guys are just playing phenomenal. And lo and behold, he's left off. Can you recall the last time I'm making this up right now. I don't know the answer. There's something I just thought about. The leading scorer in the NBA is not a starter in the All-Star game.
I think I know the reason why they did it though.
Wasn't it Bradley Beal?
No, it's not a reason. It just happened. I don't think anybody just like set back. I mean,
Bradley Beal was only one.
Bradley Beal didn't make the All-Star team.
He didn't make the All-Star team. He was the leading scorer in the league.
Was he?
Yeah, he was leading scorer.
That was the big foolishness. He led the league in scoring.
Well, I don't think it was foolishness. He didn't deserve it, but that's neither here nor there.
No,
he didn't deserve it.
No, what I was gonna say, Ray, is I feel like the reason why they did it.
He led the league in scoring.
Like it's a difference in leading the league in scoring and leading the league in scoring when your team is a top 4.
No, but when you average 30 points a game, like he said, anybody tell you that's hard to do. How many people have done that? It's not that many people.
I mean, this year everybody's making it.
Everybody's doing it this year, but that was he averaged 30 a game. That's hard to do.
I promise I wasn't tripping on it at all when it happened. Like I was like, all right, he didn't make it.
I don't know, Ray. I feel like the main reason why they did is because everybody knows KD not gonna play in the All-Star game.
Hold on, say that again.
I feel like the main reason why they did is because everybody know KD not gonna play in the All-Star game. So when he doesn't, you're gonna start Embiid.
I know real quick, but when you say why they did it, who is they?
And he said he's playing.
What do you mean the coaches and the coaches?
Coaches ain't played no part in this yet.
No, KD said he's playing.
No, because the fans don't have 100% of the stars.
Fans have 50%.
The coaches got 25, and the
coaches don't have anything. To the people watching, to Tyree, like the way All-Star works, fans get 50% of the vote.
My fault. It's media.
And then it's media, and then it's players.
I think that's why.
You know what, man? I started to bring this up on the show. I'm gonna bring it up very briefly, and then we're gonna move on. The players are worse than fans. The players are worse than fans. Go look at the media. Shout out to the media. When you look at the spots, like front court in the East, shouldn't be about 4 guys with votes, right? And that's the 4 we talk about. And if you want to throw a vote in there like a Homer goes, out of bio or something like that, I don't agree, but it ain't crazy. But go look at some of the guys who got votes from players.
Please do. Preach.
Like, it's unbelievable. 60 some odd players got votes from other players. And it's just stupid. Like, Io shouldn't have a vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, Caruso shouldn't have a vote.
Like 16, 20 votes from players. Gordon
Hayward
Hayward.
Pay for them votes.
I think they honestly, and it's messed up, but I think some of those players are being funny. They know they won't get it. Yeah, it's more of we having fun because we know who's going to get it.
But you know the wild thing about that? So let's just say, and I haven't looked at the votes. Let's say Joel Embiid missed out on starting in the front court by 5 votes. And there are 10 votes floating around out there that went to guys who had no business getting them. You might have just cost that man being an all-star starter. I don't know what his contract looked like. I don't know what incentives there are for being you get what I'm saying? Like, as the players, the people who complain about this kind of stuff, y'all got to take this more seriously. I'm going to find the list as we moving on. And I'm going to show you some of the players that got votes. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But, Ralph, I'm coming to you. You're the only person to give you MVP yet, sir.
Let me real quick about Joker. Danny said, he's probably voters fatigue. He shouldn't get it because he shouldn't, but they probably won't give it to him. We all agree. But the only difference, I know Ray compared him to, Jordan. He's right. Jordan, LeBron, who else? Magic, Bird, whoever. But the
Bird did win.
Bird won it 3 times. Sorry, Bird won it 3 times. But the difference was. You know what that was. But the difference was Joker, I don't think any of them came back the 3rd year and did something almost astronomical or something that we're not used to seeing. And that's what Joker is doing. That's why I think it could be where he might get it, because he's outplayed what he did before, which is crazy. But still, saying all of that, I think you got to give it to my man Jason Tatum, just because of not only his scoring and what he's doing, offensively, he plays defense. He's the best defensive player throughout, everybody's on the screen. I mean, Embiid can block shots, but Jason plays defense. But still, just look at the situation he came from, man. In the preseason, he's leading this team. We wouldn't have thought. I mean, Brown is balling too, but I don't think we thought that Boston was going to be this good still. And Jason has done it. Like right now, Jason is playing like, hear me out. He reminds me of LeBron. LeBron had that way of playing where he can score, rebound, and assist, but it really impacts the team. Like it makes the team better. Whereas you look at LeBron now with everything he's doing, still putting the same numbers, better numbers he was putting when he was in Cleveland or in Miami, but it's no impact. Whereas with Tatum, he's impacting the entire game. He's hitting the big shots, making that pass that he needs to make, or getting that rebound, or playing that defense. That's why I think, and correct me or not, I think Boston has the best record, right?
Yeah, they still got the best record.
So, put that with it also, you got to give him the MVP as far as the midseason, because we just didn't think with everything that happened, you switch coaches, the best coach in the NBA, you switch him, and now all of a sudden it's like in a preseason round, that's a wrap. What they're gonna do.
What'd you say?
Udoka was the best coach last year.
Who?
Yeah. Udoka. Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, I don't think Udoka was the best coach. Udoka was the best coach last year. The way he brought that Boston team to. I mean, they lost to a better team.
Hold on. Udoka was very good, right? I don't think he pulled them from the cellar like everybody talked. People forget the year before that in the playoffs, Jaylen Brown didn't play, right? And they lose in the first round to Brooklyn, who people thought was going to the finals. Before that, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum had played in 4 playoffs together and went to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times.
The East was weak, though. The East was weak. We talking about an Eastern Conference. Last year, that was the first year in a while the Eastern Conference was good. That year, there wasn't nobody in the Eastern Conference. It wasn't.
They went to the Eastern Conference Finals the same. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals when, the last couple of years, the Eastern Conference Finals has had maybe 4 or 5 teams that you felt like could really contend. Right? Milwaukee's been there. Boston's been there.
And who else back then?
Milwaukee's been there. Boston's been there. Brooklyn put the team together they put together. Philly every year supposed to have been in the mix from when it was Embiid.
No, but the year, right? But I'm saying the year that you said that they went, that year it wasn't many teams. It was only 2. It was only
they went 3 different times.
Yeah, but when they went, there weren't no good teams in the East.
I'm naming all the teams that was there.
Remember the year when Brown was hurt, Brooklyn went. That was the year when KD, the famous step on the toe, right?
Yeah,
but after that, wasn't no good teams in the East. It was just Boston and Miami.
No, time out. Like when I'm think about what I'm saying. We talking 5-6 years going back, right? Since Tatum been in the league.
Right.
Now, after last year, him and Jaylen Brown have played in 5 playoffs together.
No,
4 of them made it no less than the Eastern Conference Finals.
I get that.
Saying, like, I'm not gonna look at Boston and be like he pulled them up out of the cellar like they was trash.
But what I'm saying though is I'm not looking at let's not look at the banners. I'm looking at the way they played. It was a different Boston team from
you gotta play some kind of good basketball to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Dude, who was in the Eastern Conference Final in the bubble? Miami and Boston. That was in Milwaukee, maybe in that was it.
Matter. You gotta win 12 games to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Like Danny,
at some point you gotta be good.
No, I'm not saying they weren't good. Y'all missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying they weren't good. What I'm saying is
not that strong, man.
They weren't that strong. Right. So if that Boston team played in this era, that same Boston team, the way they played, they wouldn't even sniff the Eastern Conference Finals. But what I'm saying is Udoka came in, they played better. You can't say they didn't play. They played better. Then the fact that how they were losing in the beginning of the season, you got to give him the coach of the year. What coach was coaching better than him? Maybe besides your boy in Memphis.
Because I'm gonna be real with you.
I don't know. Really maybe the dude in Golden State that had Golden State top 3.
I mean, he's good, but I don't think. I mean, Steve Kerr always gonna be like that. That's like a Steve Jackson. But I think
real quick, because we got 5 minutes left because I gotta head over to another show. I do want to talk All NBA. All NBA first team. We know we got first, second, and third team, but All NBA first team, right? A lot of talent in the league. And ironically, none of you guys know each other's answers. Y'all was unanimous on 3 people. Those 3 guys right there. All 3 of y'all had those 3 guys on your first team. That's both forward spots and one of the guard spots, right? Y'all had some mixing up on your other guard and your center spot. So I'm going to come to Tiras Ray first. Real quick, Tiras Ray. Give me your other guard and the center spot.
I got Steph and Embiid. I mean, I roll with Embiid on MVP. I think it'd be hard for him to win MVP and not make first team. So I got Embiid, and I mean, Steph is Steph. When I look at the other guards, I mean, only other person you probably looking at what? Shea Gill. I don't think Ja Morant would get it over him. Even though Donovan Mitchell's having a good season, he's not having a better season than Steph. Trae Young's not having a better season than Steph. And only other possible person could be what? Kyrie. So that's what I had.
Talk to me, Danny.
I had Joker and Donovan Mitchell. Steph Curry's missed 15 games. That's been my issue. Now, is he going to be at the end of the season? There's a good possibility, but since we're talking at this moment, because he's missed a fourth of the games, I got to give it to a guy that's been on the court. Donovan Mitchell putting up, not only is he scoring almost 28 a game, his numbers across the board have been better than what he's ever done in Utah. He's been more consistent shooting the basketball, and he's elevated Cleveland. Take away the 71-point game, he has elevated Cleveland. So I have Mitchell there, and Joker's my MVP, so those are my 2 guys.
Talk to me, Ralph.
Nobody's going to trip out on this. I got Joker over Embiid. This triple-double, man. Mid-season, even though Embiid is going crazy, but that's just hard to – and you got the best team in the West. It's just hard to overcome. Then my shooting guard, if we're doing all NBA team, not starters and not, this is not MVP voting what you did for your team, whatever. It's Shea. For the mid-season, it's Shea. Shea is averaging more than Donovan Mitchell. He's averaging more than Steph. Shea is shooting a better percentage than all of them. As much as Curry is almost a 50-40-90, Shea is too. And he's only – and Golden State is 2 games above OKC. And you look at the both rosters and you tell me, how is that? So that lets me know that Shea is doing his thing as far as leading the team in every category. Then, of course, almost 2 steals, basically the 2 steals a game, 1.7. Then he's getting the block a game. So coupled with all that, he's the best shooting guard right now. If you look at the stats, what's all NBA think about in the NBA right now.
So I do got a question, right? Now, maybe I got the wrong numbers. I pulled some numbers, right? Maybe I got the wrong ones. How many games did Steph play this year?
34.
How many games has Giannis played?
2 different positions. So what are you trying to get at?
I'm just asking the question because you said you wouldn't pick Steph based off the fact that he's missed a whole lot of games.
Hey,
If
I
I'm
tell you
mistaken,
what.
Giannis ain't played but a couple more games.
Hey, I tell you what. I asked the questions around here. Ask him on Say What tomorrow. I'm only messing with you, bro. We got like 2 minutes left. I'm for real. I'm messing with you, Ty.
Thank you.
That hat gonna always have OP on.
Go ahead.
No,
man.
real quick. Hey, I got a minute left, and I gotta head over to the sports arena. Y'all catch me on the sports arena. So what we're gonna do real quick here, man. I'm gonna kick it around. Tell the people where they can find you. I'm gonna start with Mr. Raphael, sir. Tell the people they can find you.
Hey, the 3-point conversion. Go to 3pointconversion.com. Go to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Of course, you're getting all the exclusive interviews, the breaking news, post game, pregame pressers. You're getting it all, and make sure you follow the 3-point conversion for all your Super Bowl activities, your interviews, exclusives. We're gonna be on Radio Row all week, so you know we bringing out the big guns, talking to people and everything. Plus, we're gonna get interviews from the players playing in the game and your post game report at the Super Bowl.
Talk to me, Danny.
Like I said, you can follow my work at 3pointconversion.com. I take care of a lot of the NBA stuff over there, also WNBA stuff, so catch my work over there. And you never know where I'll pop up every now and then, so that's where you got to find me. Follow me on Twitter at Danny, DANNY_3 Thompson on Twitter. So there you go.
First of all, I'd like to say this is the most disrespectful show I've been on before in my life. Second of all, Say What, Say It Again, Tuesday night, 8:30. YouTube, Say What, Say It Again. Instagram, Say What _Say It Again. You know what it is.
And if y'all watching, follow the Sideline Sports. I'm going over right now. Sports Arena starts at 10 o'clock. We already late. I'm going to catch y'all next time. I've never let nobody close my show. Ralph, hit him with it one time, sir. Just let me hear it one time.
All right, y'all. We out, man. For Danny, Ray, my guy, Ty, and your boy, Mr. Controversy. Will you miss me? I'm out. Peace.